You're about to learn English just by listening. That's the beauty of learning through stories. You don't need to memorize grammar rules or make flashcards. Just sit back, enjoy the journey, and your brain will naturally absorb full sentence structures, expressions, and useful vocabulary. If you're into this kind of fun learning, hit that subscribe button, like the video, and ring the bell so you don't miss tomorrow's story. We post one every single day to help you grow your English without the boring stuff. Let's begin today's adventure. Emma had dreamed of visiting Rome since she was a child. She had read books about it, seen it in movies, and imagined herself walking through the ruins, wearing sunglasses and eating gelato. Now she was finally there on her own with a backpack, a notebook, and a heart full of excitement. Her trip had started with a bumpy flight and a crowded airport, but the moment she stepped outside and saw the city glowing under the late afternoon sun, everything felt worth it. The streets were narrow and filled with scooters. The buildings looked like paintings from old postcards. It was exactly how she had pictured it, and yet it felt even more real. On her third day, she woke up early with a plan to visit the Colosseum. She had seen it from a distance already, but this time she wanted to stand right in front of it, touch the ancient stones, and feel history beneath her feet. She packed her bag, filled her water bottle, and set off through the cobbled streets of Rome. The sky was soft and blue. Birds were singing. The city felt half asleep as she walked toward the Colosseum. She followed a small alley that opened up into a wide street lined with stone buildings. At the end of the street, it appeared the massive, weathered structure she had seen in photos all her life. It looked older and stronger than she imagined. Emma couldn't stop smiling. She felt like she had stepped into a dream. She wanted to get closer. The cobblestones near the Colosseum were uneven, worn from centuries of footsteps. She walked quickly, excited to reach the front entrance and take a picture. Tourists were already gathering nearby, some with cameras, others just staring in silence. As she hurried across the plaza, her foot caught on a raised stone. It happened in a flash. She tripped forward, arms flying, bag swinging from her shoulder, and landed on her knees with a small thud. For a second, everything stopped. The sound of her fall echoed off the stones. People nearby turned their heads. A few gasped. One person pointed. Emma stayed on the ground for a moment, her palms on the cool stone, her heart racing. She wasn't badly hurt, just a few scrapes on her knees and a bit of shock. But what hit her harder than the ground was the sudden rush of embarrassment. She had tripped in front of the Colosseum, surrounded by strangers, some holding phones. She slowly stood up, brushed herself off, and tried not to make eye contact with anyone. Her legs stung. Her pride stung even more. She found a quiet spot near the edge of the plaza and sat on a low wall. She opened her bag, found a small pack of tissues, and dabbed at her knees. They were red, but not bleeding. She let out a deep breath. For a moment, she felt like crying. She had come all this way to feel brave, to explore on her own, and now she just felt clumsy. But then she looked up. There it was, the Colosseum, still standing, still ancient, still powerful. She laughed quietly to herself. This building had survived earthquakes, battles, and time itself. Her fall? It was nothing compared to that. It was just part of the story. She pulled out her notebook and started to write. She didn't write about the pain or the embarrassment. She wrote about how real everything felt, how the stones were uneven because they had been walked on for thousands of years, how the people around her were kind enough not to laugh, how even in a moment of falling, the city still held her. After resting for a while, she stood up again. She walked slower now, more aware of her steps, and circled the Colosseum with quiet respect. She didn't rush to take photos. She just watched. The details in the stone, the shadows cast by the sun, the plants growing in tiny cracks. By the time she finished her walk, she felt proud. Not just because she had seen something incredible, but because she hadn't let a small mistake ruin her day. Later that evening, back at her guest house, she sat on the balcony with a bandage on one knee and a big bowl of pasta in her lap. The air smelled like basil and garlic. The sky was turning orange. She thought about the day, about falling, about getting up, about continuing anyway. She realized something important. Travel wasn't about perfect pictures or smooth days. It was about showing up, about being in a place completely, even if that meant tripping once in a while. It was about writing your own story, one step at a time. And just like that, you learned real English without thinking about it. This story gave you full sentences, real patterns, useful grammar, and rich vocabulary, all in a way that was easy to follow and fun. That's the magic of learning through stories. If you enjoyed this, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and make sure the bell is turned on so you never miss a story. New ones drop every day to boost your English without stress. Now it's your turn. Leave a comment below. Have you ever had an awkward or unexpected moment while traveling? What did it teach you? We'd love to hear your story. See you in the next adventure.